Jeremy Corbyn, 251,000.
He's only been the leader of the UK Labour Party for a matter of days, but already there are question marks about Jeremy Corbyn's policies, not least his position on the UK's relationship with the European Union. It was of course supposed to be the Conservatives that were the political party that was split over Europe, but Jeremy Corbyn's victory has led to some confusion and ambiguity about the Labour Party's position over Europe too. During the Labour leadership race, Mr Corbyn said he could campaign for Britain to leave the EU if David Cameron watered down workers' rights in his renegotiation. But then on Monday, the newly appointed Shadow Foreign Secretary Hilary Benn said Labour would fight for Britain to stay in the European Union in all circumstances. This came less than 24 hours after former frontbencher Chuka Umunna resigned, saying Mr Corbyn refused to rule out campaigning for Brexit.
I think Jeremy Corbyn's been very ambiguous throughout the Labour leadership contest on his precise stance on Europe. He's got a track record going back 40 odd years of campaigning against the EU. He voted for Britain to leave the then EEC back in 1975. He opposed the EU's Lisbon Treaty. He opposed the Treaty of Maastricht before that. So he's got a long record of taking Eurosceptic stances. But the Labour Party has a long and conflicted position on the European Union, because think back to the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher was starting to unwind Britain's labour laws, make them more restrictive, and at the same time the EU was being more protective of workers. There was social Europe being developed by people like Jacques Delors. So there are a lot of people on the Labour left who still think the EU is a bulwark against a Conservative government. And that's Jeremy Corbyn's position, and one of the reasons why he's been so ambiguous to date.
Mr Corbyn has said he wants Labour to hold an open discussion at a special conference to decide the party position on the EU referendum.
Jeremy Corbyn seems very determined to have more Labour Party democracy and more of a role for members to have their voices heard. And what we do know is that amongst the membership of the Labour Party, there are a lot more Eurosceptics than there are in Parliament, so we could actually see a shift in position to some extent. Things are changing on the left in Britain when it comes to the European debate. I think this is the result of two things. First of all, the general election. The fact that UKIP are in second place to Labour and about 120 seats in the country means that they're alert to that fact and realise they've got to be more representative of the public on this issue. I think secondly, with the situation with the Eurozone crisis and the Greek referendum, what have you, there are various people on the left now who now consider the EU to be more of a capitalist plot, if you like, than being the workers' friend. So opinion is changing on the left very, very quickly, so it'll be fascinating to see what happens in the course of the next few months.
Mr Corbyn's Eurosceptic track record isn't in line with the vast majority of his parliamentary colleagues, most of whom want Britain to stay in the EU. But given that fewer than 20 MPs supported him during the leadership contest, Mr Corbyn may be forced to soften his stance.
I don't think we'll exit the European Union under Jeremy Corbyn, or that he will campaign for that. I think the danger is that the Conservative right want us to exit along with UKIP. That is where the danger comes from. Jeremy Corbyn's position, I think, is clear on staying in Europe. The nuts and bolts of how we want to reform Europe, I think, will become evident over the next few days and weeks. He's only been the leader a couple of days. He can't have answered all the detailed questions in this brief amount of time, but he will be a pro-European Union person, and it's just a matter of how we make the European Union work better, both for business and for the whole of the British people.
But Eurosceptics in the Conservative Party and UKIP may be privately pleased that Mr Corbyn is Labour's new leader, particularly given that he wants to give the Labour membership more of a voice.
We already know the Conservative Party is going to split on the question of the European Union, with maybe 60 odd MPs and perhaps even the majority of Conservative Party members favouring a Brexit. Up until now, we'd always assumed Labour would be fairly solidly in favour of Britain remaining in the EU, but with Jeremy Corbyn there, I think it'll be more hedged around, it'll be more ambiguous, less enthusiastic, and for that reason I think those people who want to see Britain remain in the EU should be a bit more worried than they were before Jeremy Corbyn became leader.
Europe has seen a rise in anti-austerity populist parties in recent times, and Jeremy Corbyn's victory was welcomed by Syriza of Greece and Podemos of Spain. It wasn't, however, as widely welcomed among the Parliamentary Labour Party. And Jeremy Corbyn has a big challenge ahead, uniting the party over key issues, particularly like the question of the European Union. Daniel Garrahan, Financial Times, Westminster.